A very good morning to all the students of class 7. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. And today from your English book Skyline, we are going to be reading chapter number 14. So let us start reading this chapter. This is chapter number 14 and the name of the chapter is End of School Days. Let us first read the introduction of the story. This is an extract from Charles Dickens' novel David Copperfield. Young David has finished school and is excited to step into the big wide world of adults. He wants to be taken seriously and pretends to be a much traveled and experienced man. But does he succeed? Let us read the story to know. I don't know whether I was glad or sad when my school days ended and I left Dr. Strong. I'd been very happy there. I was fond of the doctor. Here, Dr. Strong is referring to the head of the school. I was popular in that little world, that is in the school. So, David Copperfield is saying that I was very popular in school. For these reasons, I was sad to leave, but I was glad for other silly reasons. Unclear ideas of being an independent young man and his importance of the wonderful things that he can see and do and the wonderful ways in which he can impress the society quite excited me. These ideas influenced my boyish mind so strongly that I left school without much regret. I can't remember how I felt about leaving school and how I left it. I did not leave a significant mark in my memory. I suppose the beginning of my new life confused me. I know that my adolescent experience did not amount to much and that life was more like a great fairy tale, which I was just about to read. So, David Copperfield is very excited that the school is over and now I'll be entering the world of adults. So, he has a lot of thoughts, mixed thoughts in his mind. He's extremely happy, but he's confused at the same time. My aunt and I had many serious discussions about my future. For a year or more, I had tried to find a good enough answer to her oft repeated question, what would you like to be? But there was nothing I particularly liked. If I had known how to sail a ship and traveled the world to make a great discovery, I might have considered that a suitable life. Since that was not the case, I desired to pursue something that wouldn't require her to spend too much money. I also desired to do well in it, whatever it turned out to be. So, David Copperfield was very caring, was very considerate towards his aunt. He thought that whatever I become, whatever career path I take, I need to ensure that my aunt's money is not wasted. Trot, my dear, said my aunt one morning in the Christmas season when I left school. As this naughty point is still unsettled and as we must not make a mistake in our decision, it would be better if we give it some time. In the meantime, you must look at it from a new point of view and not as a school boy. So, David Copperfield's aunt is giving him uh, a very constructive suggestion. She is saying that you need to understand that this is a very difficult time or this is a very critical time of your life, naughty point. So you need to take the right decision. You need to be sure of what you want to become, how you're going to walk on a particular career path. So she's saying that you need to give it a proper thought. David Copperfield says, I will, aunt. It has occurred to me. It has occurred to me means I have thought about it. My aunt went on. That a little change, a glimpse of the world outside may help you make up your mind. So David Copperfield's aunt thinks that, if she tells David to discover the world on his own, maybe David Copperfield will be able to take a decision as to what really he wants to do out of his life. You could visit the old part of the country again, for instance, and see that odd woman with a wild name, said my aunt, rubbing her nose, for she could not forgive Peggotty for having a strange name like that. Of all the things in the world, aunt, I should like it best. Well, said my aunt, that's lucky, for I should like it too. But it's natural and wise that you should like it. And I'm sure that anything you do, Trot, will always be natural and wise. I hope so, aunt. But what I want you to be, Trot, continued my aunt, is a firm fellow. So David Copperfield's answer that the most important thing that I want you to be is a person of perfect sense, a person who's very grounded, a person who's worldly wise, a fine and firm fellow with a will of your own, with resolution, with determination, with strength of character that cannot be influenced except for good reason by anyone or anything. So she says that these are the qualities I want you to have in you. That's what I want you to be. That's what your father and mother might both have been. Heaven knows. I told her that I hoped I would be what she wanted me to be, so that you may begin to rely on yourself and to act yourself, said my aunt. So his aunt is saying that I want you to become self reliant. I shall send you on a trip alone. I did think of asking Mr. Dick to go with you, but on second thought, I shall keep him to take care of me. Mr. Dick at looked a little disappointed until the pride and honor of taking care of the most wonderful woman in the world made him cheerful again. My aunt gave me a generous sum of money. That means good amount of money. Um, a portmanteau, that is a suitcase, and a loving goodbye. At the time of leaving, she gave me a good advice and many kisses. She said that since her wish was that I should take care of myself and think for myself, I should stay a few days. I should stay for a few days in London if I wanted it. She said I could either she said I could do it either on my way to Suffolk or when returning. So I was free to do as I wished for about a month. So for 1 month, David Copperfield was completely on his own. She set no other condition apart from the advice to look after myself and think for myself, and a promise to write to her 3 times a week and to tell her honestly how I was doing. The main object on my mind, I remember, when I had begun my journey, was to appear as as old as possible to the coachman, and to speak in a brusque manner. Although brusque manner means in a very curt manner, in a very, of saying in a manner that one would think that, oh, this person is very experienced. Although it was little difficult to speak like that, I still stuck to it, for I felt that it was a grown up sort of thing. You are going through, sir, said the coachman. Yes, William, I said condescendingly. I knew him. I'm going to London. I shall go down to Suffolk afterwards. So David Copperfield decided to first go to London and then go to Suffolk. Condescendingly means in a self-important manner, to show that you are superior. We went to the Golden Cross at the Charing Cross, then an old inn in a crowded neighborhood. A waiter showed me into the coffee room, and the chambermaid introduced me to my small bedchamber. It smelled like a hackney coach and was shut up like a family vault. Nobody looked awed by me, making me painfully aware of my youth. The chambermaid didn't care for my opinion on any subject, while the waiter, sensing my inexperience, offered advice. So the waiter could make out that this boy is not, he's a young boy and he might need some help. So the waiter gave him some advice, or rather, the waiter started suggesting him that what is it that you can eat here. Well, now, said the waiter in a tone of confidence, what would you like for dinner, young gentleman? Like poultry in general, have a fowl. So he's offering different dishes to him. So he's offering meat, he's offering chicken. I told him as impressively as I could that I wasn't in the mood of for a fowl. Fowl is basically, a bird that is cooked. Aren't you? Said the waiter. Young gentlemen are generally tired of mutton. Have a veal cutlet. Veal is also a kind of chicken. I agreed to this only because I was unable to suggest anything else. Do you care for tatters? That is the potatoes, said the waiter with a cunning smile. Young gentlemen are generally overfed with tatters. I ordered him in my deepest voice to get a veal cutlet and potatoes and everything else that would go with them, and to inquire if there were any letters for Trotwood, Copperfield, Esquire. I knew there wouldn't be any. There couldn't be. But I thought it manly to appear that I was expecting. So David Copperfield was acting as if he is very experienced. What happened next? He, So, when David Copperfield had placed his order, the waiter came back. He soon came back to say that there were none, at which I acted surprised. So, the waiter said that there were no letters for Mr. Copperfield and began to lay the cloth for my dinner on a table by the fire. While he was doing this, he asked me what I would drink with it. When I replied, half a pint of sherry, he used the opportunity to take out leftover wine from several small bottles. I say this because while I was reading the newspaper, I observed what he was doing behind a low wooden partition. He was pouring the leftover wine from the bottles into one glass, like a chemist and druggist mixing new medicine. When the wine came, I found it flat, tasting nothing like a pure foreign wine. But I was too shy to complain and said nothing. After dinner, being in a pleasant mood, I decided to go and see a play. I chose Covent Garden Theatre. There, from back to the center box, I saw Julius Caesar and the new pantomime. This is also a kind of play. At school, these Romans had seemed stern and difficult, but here they were walking in and out for my entertainment. I found it refreshing and delightful. But the show's mixture of reality and mystery, and the influence of the poetry, the lights, the music, the company, the glittering and brilliant scenery was so dazzling and so endlessly delightful that when I came out to the rainy street at midnight, I felt as if I had come to a fantastic place where I had been living an adventurous I'd come from a fantastic place where I had been living an adventurous life to a noisy, poorly lit, muddy, and miserable world. So now Copperfield, he felt that in this world of adults, he's all by his own and he has to really take care of himself, just like the way his aunt wanted him to understand this reality. I hope all of you enjoyed reading this chapter. Thank you so much.